Today we're going to be talking about the three biggest estate planning mistakes. So quickly to introduce myself, my name is Michael Pevney. I own Pevney Estate Planning. My typical clients that I handle are kind of number one is homeowners. We're going to talk about why in a moment. Parents of younger kids, minors or young adults, obviously anybody that has no estate plan. I believe everybody should have some sort of estate plan. People that are in retirement, near retirement, and then people who own small businesses or rental properties. Quick little intro about me. That's Heather, my wife. Those are my two little kids, Claire on the left and Scarlett on the right. I've been practicing law for 16 years. I practice exclusively in the area of estate planning. I do nothing else. And I started doing estate planning realizing how many people out there need some sort of thing set up. Estate planning is always important. It's not always urgent. And sometimes when it is urgent, it's a little bit too late. And as a parent, I'm aware of the protections that families need, and I like to help people handle that sort of thing. I've got some good reviews. I'm up to 44 five-star reviews. People say that I'm very helpful, that I explain things in a way that is understandable, and that I'm knowledgeable, helpful, friendly, and detailed. I get a lot of clients from social media. And I'd like to expand my business by getting more clients from local referrals. But right now, I've got about 75,000 followers on social media. My videos have been viewed approximately 7 million times. Now, most of these are short videos, but I actually did a little bit of math. If somebody was sitting in a room for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that adds up to about 13 and a half years that somebody has been watching my videos for. So think about that as a punishment, right? So the three biggest estate planning mistakes. Number one, not having your house in a trust if you live in California. Number two, using the government's estate plan for your children. Number three, not getting qualified advice. So big mistake number one, not putting the house in a trust. In California, what that means is that your home would have to go through probate. Probate is the government-controlled, court-supervised asset distribution program. In California, we want to avoid this because it is expensive. We have a lack of control over what happens to our home. It is a public process. Anybody that's interested gets to see how much you had, who it's going to, how much they're getting, and it's very time-consuming and stressful. And in California, probate is based on the value of your estate. So a $500,000 home, and by the way, how many $500,000 homes are there in Orange County? That costs $26,000 to get through probate. $1 million home, $46,000 to get it through probate. $2 million home, $66,000 to get it through probate. And by the way, what if you don't have a huge amount of equity in that home? What if your home's even underwater? Guess what? The state of California does not care. Those fees are set to the value of the home. I want to tell you a quick story about Bonnie and Tim. Bonnie and Tim bought their home in the 70s in Orange County for $50,000. They worked very hard. They paid it off. And now it's worth $1 million. They have 3 kids. You've got Lauren. She lives across the country. Has got a family of her own. You've got Tara. She lives in Northern California. She's a tech entrepreneur. And you've got Mitch, who's still living inside the house. Bonnie and Tim pass away. That house was not in a trust. They didn't have an estate plan set up. So what happens is, after $46,000 gets paid out of the estate, basically not going to the children, after 1.5 years goes by of weaving through the courts, even though this stuff is just going to be left to the kids, it's now in the names of the 3 kids. And guess what? They don't agree on what to do with it. Lauren wants to sell it, split up the money. Tara wants to use it as a rental property so there's ongoing income. And Mitch, the ne'er-do-well, wants to keep living in the home. Now they've got to figure out what's going to happen with it, causing a lot of family strife. So we want to get the home into a trust, which completely bypasses probate. Second mistake, letting the government plan for your kids. There is an estate plan if you don't have one already set up, and it's the state of California's estate plan, and most people probably won't like it. Parents need an estate plan because when a parent does not have an estate plan, if you have kids that are under 18, they're going to get everything that you get as soon as they turn 18 after it's gone through probate. And then that money is open to lawsuits, bad decisions, bankruptcies, and even potential future spouses. All right, that was the barbarian that we don't want our little ones marrying, and they're not too happy about that, because when the money goes into the kids' names, even though it technically is separate property, if they choose to commingle or intermingle that property, a lot of that can go to somebody that the parents may not have wanted that to go to, instead of their kids and their grandkids. Third mistake, not getting qualified advice. So estate planning is the only kind of law that I practice. Mark stole my thunder here with Saul Goodman. So you won't find me on a billboard, and I don't do criminal law anymore. I don't do any other sort of civil litigation. We have great people in this room that do that. I don't have my name on a billboard, although he actually was a pretty good elder law attorney in terms of, you remember the little shepherd boy when he was divvying everything up? Anyway, so moving on. Another story, these are actually clients that I had. We're going to call them Jeff and Desiree. They set up an estate plan about 20 years ago with somebody that practiced all other types of law, civil litigation, criminal law, bankruptcy, all sorts of stuff. And they set up a cookie cutter trust for them. But what happens if nothing makes it into that trust? In the past, I've compared a trust to a bucket. So if we don't fund that trust, you've got an empty bucket. Now, Jeff and Desiree had no kids, and they wanted to make certain that their home, their assets went to some very close friends and some charities that they cared a lot about. So when they hired me to do some updates on the trust, I had to look at the old trust, and then I had to look at the property records, and guess what? That house was not inside of the trust. So it's essential that you hire an attorney that practices only in estate planning or maybe some other closely related fields, sometimes business law, probate, of course, and that sort of thing. We can move on here. So how I can help. I'm happy to talk to anybody, whether they're necessarily qualified to hire me or not. Starts with a free consultation. I'll basically talk to anybody. I like talking to people, whether I can help them or not. We get an idea of their family structure, get an idea of their assets and their finances, and really figure out what their goals are. And then once I get that, I'm able to lay out a plan to help achieve those goals. And so again, the best referrals for me, it's almost better to talk about who not to refer to me. At this point, I'm not handling clients with net worths of $50 to $100 million or more. Any homeowners, any parents, any small business owners, people that own rental properties, that sort of thing. Because I can't always help everybody. But what I can do is talk to somebody and tell them either I can help you or point them in the right direction. I recently spoke to somebody, here's Deborah, who posted a public review, somebody that wanted to update their estate plan. Their plan they created not too long ago, they didn't have a bad relationship with that attorney. I went into the property records, checked their home. The home had made it into the trust. The tweaks that they wanted to make weren't that difficult. I said, hey, did you have a good relationship? Did you have a good experience with that attorney? And they said, yeah, it was okay. But I guess my face showed up on TikTok, which made them want to contact me, which is great. But I ended up actually sending them back to their old attorney, because it's usually best to update an estate plan with the attorney that you started with. Otherwise, I get a lot of my clients from people that set something up 20 years ago, and that attorney has passed away, they've retired, they didn't get back to them in enough time, or they just didn't have a good experience with. So this is somebody that I did not help, or rather sent them back to their old attorney and left me a positive review. And that is it. I've got about 20 seconds left, but thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your attention. David.